you want to start a business, get out of the office, achieve happiness and success while crushing life? This is Boss to Boss, the place to be for that extra motivation to get up and follow your dreams while learning from the ones who have already done it. And now for your host, Miro.
Welcome to Boss to Boss, your one-stop shop for all the best techniques from the experts themselves to make the leap and finally become your own boss. Today on the show, we got Nicholas Bayerle. And Nicholas was a wimpy little bitch. He had no girlfriend for 7 years. GPA of 1.8. 60 pounds overweight. And now, all of a sudden, next thing you know, this guy lost all the weight, found the love of his life, and runs a 7-figure business. All with a few simple techniques that he's about to share with all of you right now. Without further ado, Nicholas.
Dude, I appreciate you having me here. I'm so excited. I love that you called me a wimpy little bitch. I know we talked about it beforehand. I was like, dude, just say it. Come on. It is what it is. And I think it's true. I mean, had low self-esteem, one of the lowest self-esteem I've ever worked with, really. I wasn't in a place to change. I locked myself in my house. I lived in San Diego, sunny San Diego, as an overweight kid that was super upset with parents that divorced when I was 4 or broke up. They never even got married. And then from there, I just hated myself. And I thought I would never do anything with my life because I wanted to be a professional athlete. And I was 60 pounds overweight, 1.8 GPA, went to summer school every single year, if you're wondering how I graduated like that. And then all of a sudden something shifted for me. And it's crazy how things can shift for a negative in a moment, because that's what happened to me. One moment shifted my life for the negative, and one moment shifted my life for the positive. And now I try to have those moments as much as possible, much like we're going to have here today on the show. I've noticed that, without human investment, there is no human appreciation. Yet, if we treat this as if someone just invested 10 grand to listen to this interview, it'll be we'll get so much more out of it. So silence the phones, maybe take out a pen and paper, maybe pull over on the side of the road and say, hey, I'll be late to the next thing, and start taking notes to get ready to take action, because information plus application is what causes transformation.
Couldn't have said it better. That's Nicholas Bayerle, everybody, of the Billion Dollar Body. That's billiondollar.com. You probably don't have to write that down, because that definitely sticks in you. Once you hear that, Billion Dollar Body, you start thinking, you start wondering, what is it? What is it? Tell us, what is it?
Man, we're on a mission right now of redefining what it means to be a businessman. So really, we work with only successful businessmen, whether you've not had success yet, but you know where you're going. That's a big part of what we do. Or you're having success, but you don't have it all. You're sacrificing health and relationships to be able to grow a business. We teach the men how to have it all. It started off first focusing on the health. And I realized after building the community that actually there's a lot of facets that pull together the successful businessman. They prosper in health, business, and relationship, and they have a business that does this. We call it the 3D business and the 3D businessman. They have a vision that's bigger than their product or service that people get behind. You know how many people pay me tens of thousands of dollars a year? They invest in themselves, but they're investing the money not knowing even what they're really getting, because they just want to be part of the mission. That's when you have a good vision. Like I said, redefining businessmen. Building a $1 billion net worth inside of our community is our next goal that we're all doing together. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? Because then you get to be a part of something bigger than yourself. The second thing that you do inside of the business is you have a product or service that actually solves a need or a problem. See, there's McDonald's and there's Coca-Cola and there's Pepsi. McDonald's gives to cover up their crappy product when they're probably actually causing the problem that they're fixing and double profiting. Congratulations, Ronald McDonald. And whatever, I don't know all about that, but it's a crappy product. End of story. So these guys have a product or service that solves a need or a problem. So it's actually giving back through the business, and then also have a way that they actually give back. So those 3 things make the 3D business, whereas a 3D businessman is prospering in health, business, and relationships, having it all in their life without having to apologize, and having a group of men around them, because in brotherhood, we thrive.
All right. That's a great way to put it. Is there anything you want to share with our listeners that maybe they don't know about you? Something quick, but something interesting that you haven't really shared before.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Eminem's last rap. If you guys have watched 8 Miles, he's like, I don't want to win, I'm outie. Tell these people something they don't know about me. And that was something that was super huge for me, because when you actually put yourself out there, the people have nothing to say. When you have nothing to hide, people have nothing to use against you. Usually weapons in your own mind, weapons if you believe in like maybe some spiritual warfare, or weapons that other people physically can use against you, are usually things of your past when it comes into shame and guilt. And so shame and guilt are one of the biggest cripplers for people, and they both manifest in the body the same way. And a lot of times they manifest in sicknesses, illnesses, affirmities, things like that. So for me, I grew up as a kid, 2 years old, youngest kid in the world to start racing bicycles. Thank you, Dad. At 4 years old, I started racing motocross, got my first motorcycle at 4. And then I raced motocross my entire life, was a skateboarder, bicycle rider, all these different things, till I was about 12, 13 years old. That's when my dad and I had a falling out. I wanted to be the best motocross rider in the world, but I was super depressed. I wasn't super motivated for some reason. I used to gag myself before I'd go ride because I put so much pressure on myself. Much winners or much A personalities hate losing more than they like winning. And so because of that, it's a lot of pressure. You don't get that much satisfaction from winning, but you put more pressure on yourself just to not lose. And so that's how I felt. So I gagged myself just to have an excuse if I wasn't doing good that day. So I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I want to be the best in the world. Like I said, in one moment, my life shifted. My dad looked at me and said, you'll never be the best. And at the moment, he thought, you're never going to be the best every single day. Like, you can't just be the best. Someone's going to beat you one day. But I didn't take it that way. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Didn't talk for 3 years. That's when everything fell apart. 1.8 GPA, 60 pounds, no girlfriend, no nothing. Hid in my house every single day, and all I do is play video games. Literally from 6 a.m. till I would go to bed at 6 a.m., and I'd wake up in the afternoon during the summer. That's how terrible it was. So if you're any better than that, then you can do whatever you want with your life, basically, is what I'm saying. One of the worst things ever. And then all of a sudden at 18 years old, right before I turned 18, there was this kid that came up to me, and he had a bag of fruit. It's one thing not many people know. Pulled out a bag of fruit from his backpack. And I was like this fat guy that was wearing like a sweatshirt because I was scared like of people like making fun of my big puffy nipples and all that kind of stuff. And I had to cover it up because one kid said something and it really hurt. So I was like, oh crap, I look better in a sweatshirt. So I wore them even when it's like 100 and something degrees outside. Maybe some of the people can relate. And so this guy pulls out fruit, and at the fear of getting judged, I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's fruit. I was like, why are you eating it? He's like, man, my trainer has me on a meal plan. So that I can weigh in at the correct weight and perform at my best level for boxing. And I was like, deal. I was a motivated kid. I always wanted to be the best, but I just didn't know the step-by-step plan. There's many people out there that know the step-by-step plan that don't have the actual willpower, that discipline to go and do it, which I work with those people. And also there's people out there that have the tenacity, just don't have the step-by-step game plan to follow to get the results. They need to be refined a little bit. And that's what I needed. So I went out there, told my mom what he had, and literally 60 pounds lost in 6 months without ever going to the gym. So after that gave me the confidence to get out there again, go meet my dad, to get my license. I didn't even have my license because I didn't want one, didn't want a reason to leave the house. And that's what really shifted my whole life. I believe health is the foundation of every man's success and every person's success.
Man, I have so many things I want to follow up with and just keep going here. Though I do want to stick with the theme of the show. And what you got going here is great, man. And I'm sure a lot of people will be following up just wanting to hear more. Good stuff. So when did you realize there had to be a point that you were just done with what you were doing in the past and it was time to leave, whether it was your 9 to 5, whatever it was that you were bossed around and you were just ready to, this is you, time to.
Yeah, everyone bossed me around, bro. Like every single day. You nice guys finish last. End of story. You can freaking.
Fact.
You can reach out to me on that one, okay? So really, I would think the biggest one was this. I was failing in my first business, and I didn't have the money to provide, and I knew that I had to at least step up. So I went and I asked my dad. I was like, Dad, I know I'm going to own the family business one day. Can I come help and serve? And he's like, yeah, I'll give you 5% of the business, whatever. That actually never went through, the whole 5%, which I don't mind because I know it's mine. But I worked for 2.5 years and really ran the company. My dad got in a bad motorcycle accident, so I would never have it any other way. He literally was out for over 12 months and couldn't work at all on anything. And so I was able to be that person that provided for my whole family and really floated the family business that had been around for a long time. But it got to the point where I caught myself getting comfortable cleaning carpets for $1,200 to $1,500 a month is all I could take, working full time. If you do the math, that's like $4 to $5 an hour. And I was doing this over and over again and realizing that I started like getting depressed. I started playing app games on my phone all the time. I didn't know I was depressed, but I just wasn't happy. But I just didn't know like what it would look like. So I started fulfilling myself through golfing and trying to go out there and like get all these external things to kind of fulfill my life. I remember being so frustrated every single day, like going to networking events and stuff like that. And it just came down to a point where I was like, man, I'm sick and tired of this. Many people have probably reached this point where you're like, I want to do something different, but I'm having a hard time building my side hustle while I'm working. And that's what I struggled with. I had a business going on the side, and I was trying to have my wife run it. I'm like, honey, like, can you kind of do all the stuff and like whatever? And many of you guys, maybe you don't even have a wife to help. That's even harder. But at this time, I'm like, oh, maybe she'll do it. We can never produce more than $3,000 in a month for 3 years, which means that we're not be able to leave any of my staff. She was even working part-time at the time, and that's just tons of pressure on me. And so really, at the end of the day, what happened was that I did the math, and I said, honey, if you can't leave your job and with the extra hours produce more money in the business than what you're currently working and making, then we should probably shut the whole thing down. So that was a good thing to ask myself. Can I make more money if I go all into my business with all the hours that I'm using in my work? Do I believe that I go out there and do it? And if not, then change the business. But if so, let's go all in. So at this point, I went to Gary Vaynerchuk and I said, Gary, I need a meeting. 5 minutes. I asked him, I said, I have a carpet cleaning business that I could make 7 figures. It'll look so cool. I'll be able to buy them all up, blah, 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 blah. I'm like kind of talking big shot, even though I'm making no money. And then I have this passion of mine that I actually want to do, where I get to screw the 9 to 5, right? Since we're kind of like that here. I get to do whatever I want. I love it. And I get to help people. And he goes, do both. And I was like, no, that's the whole point. I'm here. I can't. I'm sucking at all of them. Like everything's failing because I'm trying to do both at the same time. I'm not good at just doing 2 things. He goes, oh, I'll just pick one then. It's like, no, that's why I'm here as well. Which one should I pick? He said, listen, make a decision and don't regret. I passed on Uber and I learned, but it was a bad decision, but it was the best one I could make. And I made it quick and I moved on and I never regretted it. And if I can do that, then you can do this as well. And that's when I chose to transition out of carpet cleaning, went all in on our business. And it's so crazy. 3 years. Never more than $3,000 in a month. And maybe it got me to like make different investments in myself. I invested in my first $5,000 live event, $5,000 one event, swiped my credit card, went into debt. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be good at swiping your credit card, investing in yourself. The best investment you can make is in yourself, bar none, end of story. And I ended up, I remember doing okay, but still dabbling. But that month that I left, officially, we did $22,500. And I was like, collected, not just booked out, 33 grand booked out. And I was like, I'm all in. But there was still the fear of like, wait, what if I don't do this for like a couple months and then I have to go begging back for my job? And I allowed that to also become another motivation. I didn't just look at what I did want. I also looked at what I didn't want. And so that was my story of transitioning out of what was holding me back. And little did I know that I was giving up the good for the great. And I did that many times in my business as well that got us to where we're at today, obviously doing pretty well for ourselves.
So you got a meeting with Gary V. How I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how hard was that, and did it take you a while, or what happened?
No. I just caught him where he was at. He got done speaking at an event. I'm like, dude, I need to talk to you, whatever. He's like, cool, I'm going to be doing a book signing. And so I just waited for the right time. We went in there. We had a conversation real quick. I had the books, right? I bought the books real quick. So it cost me the books, and it cost me being in the right spot. We teach this to our guys all the time, how to have a $1 billion network that has invested interest in what you do, even if you don't know where to find them. Because it's been one of our biggest strengths. It's like, how can I build a $1 billion network that have invested interest in what I do, so they care about you, that even if you don't know where to find them. And what the cool thing about this is that when they have invested interest, they don't really care about how much you pay, because usually you can't afford these people anyway. Like Jay Abraham mentors us and he's 100 grand. I'm like, dang, that's kind of a stretch. But he mentors us just because he has invested interest. And on top of that, knowing where to find them. So that's a big part of what we do as well, is showing people how to stand out. I just networked with another guy that owns a super big business. I don't know how big, but he drives a new exotic car to this place down the street from me every day. They're like, I don't know if he rents them or what. So I went and talked to him, built my network just like that. Got his phone number right here, and we'll be able to go and hang out and build that network. And I show people how to do that as well.
Okay. Well, transitioning, did you know, so you were doing this carpet cleaning thing. While you're doing it, did you know anything about $1 Billion Body? Did you know that was the next step? Or was this kind of like, you know what? The carpet thing is just not cutting it for me anymore. I need to break away, have some free time, like some mental capacity to really think this through.
Yeah, so I thought of the life that I wanted to live, and I thought of the ways that I could get there. So I knew that carpet cleaning wasn't going to get me to unlimited income potential, and it wasn't a way that I could affect and make an impact in the world because I was cleaning carpets. Like literally, I was cleaning people's blood and poop off carpets. It's terrible. Like it was so embarrassing to show up in a carpet cleaning van at networking events. Believe me, never do it. It's not worth it. And so I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I knew what I was good at. And at the time, I lost all the weight, and I focused so much on my health as the number one asset. So because I knew that that's something that I'm good at, so I could teach someone. Then I was like, who do I want to teach? I was like, well, I need to build a business. So what if I am who I surround myself with, then if I'm going to spend all my time with these clients, they need to be successful because that's where I want to grow. And that's how it first started out. That's Billion Dollar Body in the essence of the original form was like, I'm going to work with men who own businesses. They always sacrifice their health just like I did. And I even sacrificed my health in my first business again. So I knew exactly what they were going through. So because of that, I had a skill. And then I had a person I wanted to connect with and serve that needed. So there's a thing called willing and able. And so I looked at that market and I go, they're willing, like they need it, and they're able, meaning they have the money, the financial means. So that's when I started selling $1,800, $3,000 packages that then went all the way up to $5,000 to $15,000 packages for people to invest in their health because it's all perceived value. The more successful the person is or the more need they have for it, they're willing to invest more to have it.
No, that's a great way to put it. And are the packages still about the same, like to this day? I'm just curious, or have things?
So we simplified things a lot more. We're more of a lifestyle brand now, of really tailoring a lifestyle for a entrepreneur, for a businessman. And so for our businessmen right now, we have our live events, Billion Dollar Body Live. That's what we talked about June 8th through 10th in San Diego, where I bring that same transformation that I had in that $5,000 event that led me to creating a 7-figure business to the next level, even at our live event. And then we have our Brotherhood platform, whereas all of our health stuff is in there, along with other stuff for way less in the investment than it used to be. It's absolutely crazy, but it's because I'm trying to reach bigger numbers and create the $1 billion net worth. And then we have our Brotherhood Elite, which is $15,000 a year. That's where our elite level guys are at. And those are the guys that are really trying to multiply, that are making 6 figures, want to go above and beyond without sacrificing their health and their relationships in the process. So these guys, it's crazy. We have a 95% retention this year from the last one so far.
That's
it
huge.
Still hasn't even ended. Yeah, for a $15,000 a year program, it's pretty cool.
That's almost unheard of.
Well, yeah.
You're obviously doing something right.
Yeah,
you really caught me when I met you at 10X and we talked and you told me about this whole thing, the whole you got the people coming in talking to everybody and you kind of like all stay there in one spot, and I was like, man, this is something that I need to look into myself. And I'm not the type to always invest in certain things. I'm always
dude, neither am I, dude. I'm the slowest. I'm the worst. I'm like, gosh, like I only invest in things if I know it. But when I know, maybe you know this as well, if I want something, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to get that. Like one time I bought a $4,000 espresso machine, but like I never had invested $4,000 into myself. And so it always has to be a controllable ROI for me as well. I never make investments that I don't feel like I can control the outcome. And that's why, like, for the live event, you'll love this, dude, because if you and I are exactly alike. For the live event, when people buy a ticket, every month I do a connection call for anyone who's bought a ticket to be able to connect, say who they are, what they do, and what their number one need is right now so people can start solving problems, because I so want people to get the value of the ticket before they even show up. Because I'm like, I know they're going to – that's how I would think too. Like I need a controllable outcome. I need to know that I know people when I show up. I need to know that I'm going to show up and get my money's worth, right? Like at least that, like my investment back. So I'm the exact same way, man. It's like that's why I made the $1 Billion Brother. We have a year-long program, and it's $1,000 for the entire year right now through a special link that I have that I share on something that I won't share yet. It's a little bit too private. We'll see. Maybe you'll get the sneak through it at the end. But it's normally $2,000 a year, but I make it a whole year so that people can invest themselves every day to making sure they get that ROI. And we just have such controllable outcome, and we created millions of dollars. It's all in the data. Like results speak louder than actions, and actions speak louder than words. Most people have actions, and that's great because they say actions speak louder than words. We have results now, which is something that's far more powerful, and all the guys to sit there and help you. So like imagine this. This is what's so powerful about this community. You fall on the ground in your health, business, or relationships. There's men that are successful in all those areas, and all of them are falling at different times, but they're always there to help pull you up. and help you become successful, where 50% of success is just showing up. And that's what we've created, is this crazy community that if you have a problem and you show up with it, they'll do everything possible to solve it because someone else did it for them, even if it's just working with me in the past.
I like that, man. I definitely want to find out more about it. Hopefully I will. And pretty much, what mistakes do you feel were crucial to your success? And I'm sure there had to be at least one, right?
Oh, there's plenty,
if
man.
there was one that really sticks out, one that that a listener will find really helpful to getting to where you're at right now.
Yeah,
What
if it's meant to be, it's up to me was a big one. I thought that everyone else would make decisions for me, and I totally let life live me. See, growing up as a poor kid, I only had enough money. Like, if the opportunity came and I got enough money, I made the decision. And so I never had a lot of decisions to make because it was all based on, do I have the money or do I not have the money? And so then all of a sudden, when I could make decisions in a business, I was hoping that everyone else would make it for me or life would make it for me, because I just wasn't used to making those decisions, because I just didn't know. Like, I always just had enough money. If I get the money, I'll go. And if I don't have the money, then I won't go. That's how I lived life. And so one of the big mistakes that I made was I didn't invest in myself enough at the beginning. I wanted to like make investments. If it didn't, like, I just didn't want to get better, man. Like, I didn't realize that my business would grow only if I grew. So that's so much of what we teach now. I mean, obviously I was fat, no girlfriend, and no wife for sure, and I had no business, and that's all we teach today. So the same thing is the best investment you can make in yourself, and that's one problem that I had at the beginning, and it's because that when you get it up here, I can print money on demand right now. Now it'll still be to be determined in a very down economy. I'm not sure yet. I have to prove myself, but right now I can print money on demand. You throw me in Zimbabwe and I'll be fine. No business, no name, it doesn't even matter because it's up here. You can take everything away from me. And so that's what we call power and confidence, right? Power is the ability to actually create the thing. Confidence is what it takes to actually go out there and present yourself. But power is when you can actually create something on demand. I know how to lose weight because I actually did it. And I know that even if I was fat right now, I could lose weight again because I have the power. It's not put on someone else. No one can take it away from me. And so because of that, that was the second biggest thing, was making bigger investments in myself with what I had. So even like what the reason I created billiondollarbodylive.com, it was because of the entry level for people to make an investment in themselves to grow in an entire 2.5 days more than most people did in a year. Because I realized that when I went to events, the first thing is I always wanted people to give me a ticket for free, because I thought like, ooh, this would be so cool. I'll get the in and I'll save money. The problem is that now I'm in Russell Brunson's mastermind. I invest over $25K a year cash each time for the renewal in his mastermind. But he actually allowed people to join for free. And he told me that not one person has succeeded that he's allowed to join for free. But he has over 90% success rate for the people that did join and paid. So what's the better investment? I'm like, well, obviously the paid one, because the results are better. Other people wasted their time but didn't spend any money, quote unquote. So that's why at BDB Live, there's no free ticket, no discounts. Because when you invest, you show up, right? When you pay attention. Without any human investment, there is no human appreciation. That's one thing that we're able to hack in the human mind. But taking 100% responsibility was number one. The number one key right now to going forward is taking 100% responsibility for your outcome, and knowing that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. That doesn't diminish the community. See, geese, when they fly right now, if geese flew over here, if one goose flew alone, literally it'll end up going 70% less distance than a flock. It's crazy. It's like, wow, in a group, they're able to fly 70% further on the same amount of energy. So many people in entrepreneurship are burning themselves out. They're sacrificing their family. They're sacrificing their health to never really even become that successful. Why? Because they're doing it alone. The way to do it is in a community, in a group that can help out. And that's the fast track. If I give you 5 billionaires in your business right now that could sit there and solve all your problems for you, it's not going to be that hard to be successful. Yet we all seem to do it alone because we feel like, man, nothing out there is going to work for me. And that's the same story that everyone tells themselves. And the best one is this: once I make money, I'll invest in myself. I don't know if I cuss. That is the biggest BS story in the entire world. Like, dude,
is it too late at that point?
Egg.
Yeah, is it too late at that point? Like, come on.
Go, like, quit. Go back to a job. One of the two. Invest in yourself and take a risk, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. Or go get a job at freaking McDonald's because that's where you belong. You know that movie? It's pretty funny.
That is a good movie. Well, it's funny that you bring that up because I've been told this numerous times, and I brought it up before, and I was told myself personally, why did I go into my company, Hodgepodge, with a partnership? Why did I want other people involved? Why would I have mentors? Why wouldn't I just do it all alone? So I have that full freedom no matter what. But it's different, isn't it different when you actually have people, like-minded people along there with you? You're not necessarily part of the same company, but you're part of the same culture. You're part of something bigger. Isn't that key? I mean, that's exactly what it's
even like you only know what you know. What you do today isn't going to get you to where you want to be tomorrow. Like, well, you can go and sail the world and figure out that the Earth's not freaking flat anymore and rediscover all the same old crap that everyone's already been through. Or you can pay people to fast track you to success and be able to use their ceiling where they couldn't go above as your floor to walk on. And that's what I've done. I learn from the best because I want to become the best. And so because I have a new ceiling, their ceiling is now my floor to walk on, and I build on top of that. And I feel like that's really more honoring and pushing the culture forward, but also their time is worth money as well. And that's the same reason why you went to 10X. It's like, we know that the best investment we can make is in ourselves, and that our network is our net worth. Yet, what do the least successful people do? They get stuck in there hoping that they can make some money and become successful before they make an investment. And as soon as they're successful, then they'll go make big friends. It's like, why would they want to hang out with me? Because I'm not successful enough. It's like, bro, like, freaking have a vision for your life, figure out where you want to go, become that person now, which is what I did. And I'm like, I know where I'm going. I see myself on the yacht with my whole family. How am I going to buy $100 million yacht unless I crush it? And I'm like, who is that guy? And I learn more about who I'm going to be in the future. I pull that guy into the now, and I show up on a show like this going, hey, the biggest movement in the world that's going to happen, that's going to be the definition of a businessman, is going to happen here, where Elon Musk's going to be knocking on my door, begging and pleading to join my community. That's what we're creating. So you get in now, you get in later, it doesn't matter. More money, less money, I don't really care. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, we're succeeding. How do I say that? Because I've already seen it. Just like if I were to put you back at 12 years old and say relive your life again with what you know now, everyone says I'd be more successful. Oh, that's so easy. I would have crushed it in sports. Could you imagine knowing what I know now about motocross, going back to when I'm 12? Oh, I'd kill it. But guess what? That's exactly what you can do now. That's what the successful people are doing. They already see it. And because of that, I become that now. I already know the outcome. So I don't give a crap. Not giving a crap means that they actually join. That's why, I could sit here all day, look at my Stripe account, and watch money come in. When I was just a poor little kid that couldn't even afford anything. Dude, I wore hand-me-down clothes till I was 23. I slept on the floor for $135 a month in a co-ed living space with 3 other people in one room. I didn't have enough money for groceries, so I'd walk around the grocery store, and I would walk behind people, and I'd get groceries, and I'd put them up on the thing. And then if no one came and offered to buy my groceries, I'd put them back in the basket, and I'd walk around and hope that someone would buy me food without asking. So what's your freaking excuse, right? Not you, but everyone listening right now. It's like, man, people that listen to podcasts like this, they're not the people that are having problems like this, because they know the best investment they can make is in themselves, because they're investing time. They're investing in people like you, right? And they should be investing in people like you. If you're not paying this guy, like, what the heck are you doing? Like, you want to have his life, you're listening. Be, do, have. End of story. Be the person that's going to create the results. Do what they do, and have what they have. It's that order. Be, do, have every single time. I want to be I want to be a bodybuilder. You want to be like that guy? Cool. Be who he is. Act like he is. Do what he does, and you'll have what he has. End of story. And even if you fail by, even if you fail by 90%, a lot of times you're still making 6 figures. Not too bad.
Not too bad at all. Well, we're not stopping there. Definitely not.
No, you should never stop. If you're a businessman right now and you feel like you're called to it, then if you're not increasing revenue and increasing profit every single quarter, you're failing your destiny. End of story. End of story. There's no 2 ways about it. And if you allow yourself to go to a lower standard, that's where the weakness is. And that weakness will burden you for the rest of your life.
You heard it here, everybody. Invest in yourself. Pretty much. All right. Last one. What tips do you have for somebody, average listener, somebody waiting to make the leap? I mean, that was me a year ago. I was sitting there at my desk at my CPA job. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, do I make the leap? Do I go sideways to another company, and keep getting bossed around? What do you have to tell them?
I'm going to go a little bit different angle because I'm sure people have a lot of opinions on this question. I would say build the skill set while you can. Do things that don't have to make you money. So build your skill set and build your audience now. Be real and vulnerable with exactly what your situation is and where you're at. Tell people your story because that's what's going to connect with them. So many people, they like think so much about leaving that they don't actually build a skill set or an audience or anybody that cares about them. They leave, they live up all their savings. When things are about to go wrong, they end up finally making it happen. Or they go right back to the job after they lost all their savings. It's like, don't have the fear of that. While you're there, post, build a not a following because I hate the word following, but build a tribe, build a community, build some type of vision. I told you the 3D businessman. Go back and listen to it. Vision, product, service, solves a problem or need, and then gives back. Become that now and start that culture, start that momentum, so that when you leave, you literally work yourself out of it. I told you I had a hard time with that, but if someone would have told me that back in the day, I just felt like, man, like nothing's working. It's going to take me leaving and going to fight or flight. Yeah, that'll work. But I would say build a skill set until you're very good at something. A lot of the times, if you do it on your own, it takes about 5 years. So 5 years of building a skill set before you make a transition. If you have mentors, it really shortens the gap, which is obvious. It's like this happens with athletes all the time. But if you want to do it on your own, plan on 5 years of studying something that's of value. And so value is this: solving more problems for more people. And money will always follow that. Money will always follow value, and value is solving more problems for more people. So if you can do that, become valuable to a certain community that's willing and able to purchase your stuff, you give value to build that momentum before you ever need to exit. That's the number one thing I would do. And when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you see the momentum, people are knocking down your door, I would say that's where it's time to just go all in. Too many people jump in, have no skill set. Then what? You need to get good. That should have been done years before. Mm-hmm. So that'd be exactly what I would do.
I like that. I'm sure the listeners will like that too. Definitely.
I'm sure they connect with someone like you, right? And quicken their process. Like rather than like taking 5 years to get good at something, you could probably talk with him. Like that's probably the next step is for them to reach out to you and be like, what's a way I can be like valuable? Here's what I'm good at. And if you don't know what you're good at, ask people around you. Gary Vaynerchuk does a good job at saying that. Like ask people, they'll tell you the truth.
I had that mentor, and that definitely sped up the process. Night and day. If I went in all this alone, I wouldn't be here where I'm at right now, for sure. All right. Well, that was great. I'm sure everybody got a lot of great stuff out of that, and be sure to follow. Be sure to follow up. Might be
depressed right now. Some of them are like, I'm not that good at stuff. I need to wait 5 years. Good. You didn't freaking earn it. Life only pays people that win. End of story. I'm just not that good, so I had to work hard. You may be really good, and you don't have to work as hard as me. I just had to work really, really hard. I was average at everything. I owned a health company. I'm 150 freaking pounds. I can't take pictures of my abs on freaking Instagram. I had to figure out a different way to do it because I wasn't that good at it. I didn't have the aesthetics. I didn't have any of that. So all the stuff that I've succeeded at, I was not good at all. None of it.
I think that is huge.
If you're good, it'll take you less time.
That is huge. I think people, they check you out and they're like, wow, you don't have to be 7 foot, crazy ripped aesthetics to be running, a fitness type company. Not saying that you're just fitness.
You do if you want to get a job in the fitness industry and have a job your whole life and be poor. But if you want to be the person that runs the industry, then you don't have to be actually anything special. That's what's cool.
Exactly. Perfectly put. All right. And now on to our favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name because they're all taken.
I'm nervous.
All right. So here are the rules. Very little, but here they are. You have only 5 seconds. Within 5 seconds, you have to answer each question. Don't think about it too much. And if you don't, then they don't tell me what happens, but my producer comes down here and supposedly makes a big deal about it. I don't know. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to deal with it. Let's go. Favorite book?
Think and Grow Rich and the Bible.
Stranded on an island. What is the one item you want?
A boat.
That's a first. Who has been or is your greatest mentor?
My wife.
That's also a first. You're on a roll, man. Is entrepreneurism a fad?
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate?
Everyone makes it seem like it's grass is greener. and it takes your entire life, blood, sweat, and tears. I took a picture of $1,300 shoes that I bought the other day, and everyone's like, oh, you're buying these shoes. I'm like, no, I freaking grinded my face through a cheese grater for freaking 6 years, dick. So I would say that there's there's a lot of different passions that you can have out there, and I believe too many people are tricking people that can have a great career, people that can make a big impact in other areas, into thinking they're wrong for not being an entrepreneur, and making people do something they actually don't want to do that's not authentic to them. I do think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that used to be hidden back in the day, like myself, but I also believe that right now people are jumping on it and setting a bad example for people that actually want to get into this game for real, because they don't invest in themselves. They're scared to go to live events. They sit there and they fail all the time because this isn't what they want to do, and they want to play small. As an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs work on businesses, not in businesses. Just because you're working your own job doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur builds different businesses and runs them from the outside, not the inside. So entrepreneurs are fad. Yeah, it's the cool thing to do right now, and I feel bad because it's gonna mess up a lot of the kids. Not that I think freelancing is a bad thing. I just think that doing what you want to do is the most important thing. Being around high level people, figure that stuff out, and you don't have to live a life that everyone else wants. If entrepreneurship wasn't cool, would you do it? Ask yourself that. Are you willing to go your entire life at failing at entrepreneurship? I am. Are you? And I think that's a big question.
That is a perfect follow-up question. On to the next one. Is audio, specifically voice podcasts, the future?
Frick, dude. No. It's the now, obviously. And I'll elaborate on this. I believe it's awesome. Look at the stats. I have John Lee Dumas and I have Pat Flynn that all teach inside of the Billion Dollar Brotherhood, and they show you the stats on how intimate it is to listen. I think there's going to be things where you can get something injected into your a retina of your eye, where you can watch things and listen to them at the same time or something. Do I think it's the future? I think it's the past. I think it's the present, and I think it will be a part of the future as well.
All right. Well, my producer's not here. Nobody else came by. They didn't say anything. So you survived. You passed. You can tell your wife you passed. So things are good, man.
Come on, you got to ask me another question, man. This is getting fun. I thought we were going to get on a roll here.
You know what? That just means we have to follow up, man. We have to follow up with you in a few months and see where you're at. That's all it means.
Hey, my answers will be the same.
We gotta keep you in check, man. We all gotta keep each other in check, and that's what's most important, I think, or one of the important things. But all right, man. Thanks for taking some time out, everybody. That's Nicholas Bayerle of Billion Dollar Body. That's billiondollar.body.com. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram. Where else can they find you?
They can find me at my live event, June 8th through 10th in San Diego, billiondollarbodylive.com, and I will see you there. Legitimately, if you come to my live event from this, put his name in there when you check out. It'll have his little thing where you can enter his name, who you're referred by. If you show up and you say, man, this was not worth it, but you go to every session, you show up, you get on the calls beforehand, you say, this was not worth my investment, I will give you cash back. And we'll go out to lunch or coffee and talk about it, because I want to hear about how the frick that happened. But other than that, you get cash and a free coffee and you come to San Diego. So that's what I would say right now. And you can quote me on it. I don't really care. I gave an end of event money back guarantee last year, and not one dick has done it yet. So there's no risk. End of story. And so for the people that are coming, now they're just going to have to get you to come, because, man, how could they imagine if their leaders showed up, man, the person that's freaking running the whole show here. Every single person in our audience could be a speaker. That's what's crazy. And that's what makes it powerful, man. So altogether, that offer's on the table for everyone.
Hey, I could vouch for Nicholas. When I just met him, he offered to pay for about 10 of us for our dinner. So I guess that says something about him right there. All right. So last part, anything you want to share with us? Next step, next little thing you're working on? What could we expect?
Yeah, again, billiondollarbodylive.com is my number one thing right now. It's just the most impactful thing. There's nothing else I do that people could get introduced to for such a low investment that's as powerful. And so I just believe that's one of the best things. If you're a man right now and you type in your name in the $1 Billion Brotherhood on Facebook, they can request to join, and I'll definitely accept them. This is a place where I'm going live every single week. I post content every single day that, again, has made millions and millions of dollars, saved relationships, helped men get in the best shape of their life, and a community. There's like 900 actual business owners, so you have to own a business to be inside of there. And for the women, I won't tell my wife, but anyone who's a woman that's listening, the $1 Billion Babes is a private group, and they do a call every single month. And I'll let you join and get on the calls for free if you come through this podcast and be able to meet all these women that are either entrepreneurs' wives or they're entrepreneurs themselves, authors, speakers, coaches, brick and mortar. Like, these girls are badass, dude. It's crazy. And obviously my wife's badass. Think about this. She's my mentor. Like, right? That means, like, could you even get her on the podcast? You're like, man, your mentor. What the heck? What's she like? Right? Yeah, she's badass.
I can't even imagine.
She's sick, man.
I did meet her at that dinner for a little bit.
Yeah, she's badass, dude. She's crazy, and we have some cool stories, man. So I'm really looking forward to helping everyone. The biggest thing is get off this audio and go connect with somebody.
Do something now.
Dude. Oh my
Time
gosh.
is now. That's what
Get around some freaking people. And if you're not making money every single day, that's a bad thing. See this guy? This guy right here, you know what I call him?
You can't
Oxygen.
see him. You can't see him, but
he's $100 bill, and we call him oxygen. Here's why. Without money, your business dies. It's the oxygen to your business. Try holding your breath for 5 minutes. Let me know how it goes. Actually, make it a minute, because 5 minutes you're going to die. And so same thing with this. Money every day. Get it. Get it. Get it. Sales cures all. End of story. Apply that to every single thing that you do in your business right now. That'll help you get out of your job faster than ever. What cures all? Sales cures all. So yeah, our VIP ticket right now is $700. You get a limo that picks you up from the hotel to bring you to the highest place in downtown San Diego to have dinner with me and some of the speakers. Jay Abraham will be there, who's Tony Robbins' mentor. Robert Glover, who wrote No More Mr. Nice Guy. I pay for both your lunches both days. Tell Grant, booyah. And on top of that, I have a crazy swag bag as well that's a little bit better than a pen and a notebook. I can guarantee that.
All right. What about a non-VIP for all the listeners out there?
The non-VIP starts at $300, depending on when you're listening to this. Prices go up all the time, depending on how many tickets we sell. So VIP goes up tonight in the investment, but the general is at $300. I pay for both your lunches as well, a different swag bag. VIPs get VIP seating, all this stuff. More bang for your buck. You get more recognition from 150 men that own businesses that crush it, along with some Fortune 500 sponsors and stuff like that.
All right. And what if I can't make that date?
I always tell guys, if you're getting married, I have an ordained minister there on that date. So you get married at the event. If you're planning on dying before the event, postpone it and die afterwards. And then if you have anything else in the way, I would skip it. But worst case scenario is the ticket price goes up. I already sell out all my live events, so I don't give a crap if anyone goes, because I sell them out on my own community. And if it comes to the very end, you can't go, then guess what? Congrats. You just made a good investment, and you could sell your ticket for more. I don't really give a crap. Someone else did it last year. It's a great investment. Just don't buy all my tickets, please. Problem is that good decisions and bad decisions aren't what shape our future, right? The things that crush us is indecision. I just told you I was exactly the same way. That's why I have a connection call every single month. That's why I add all the different values into the ticket so that you can show up getting the most out of it.
I know a good investment when I see it, and this is definitely one of those. Thanks for taking the time out and for being on the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Let's wrap this up, and we'll definitely be talking soon. Definitely checking in with you after some time. Hopefully talk about the show as well.
Yeah, we'll do another show after the live event, and we'll talk about all the stuff that happened.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for being on.
Sweet, thanks.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.